All right. So that stuff about the intelligible and the sun and all that kind of stuff. Okay, in the divided line, a couple things quick to keep in mind. Okay, divided line. First, he makes a distinction between the visible and the intelligible, right? I don't recall the exact line numbers. I don't have it right in front of me yet. And so here's the whole visible world, right? And that means everything essentially physical, right? So you can touch it, it's in here. Now, at this point, the physical and the visible, any living thing has access to the physical world, right? So whether, we're looking at a tree, the physical aspect of a tree, the dog can perceive the tree, we can perceive the tree, wood beetles can perceive the tree, whatever. The intelligible, though, is the world of knowledge and ideas, right? And here's what he says in book 6. The point is this. He says, well, you take any given object in the physical realm, right? Okay, so that's a tree. And then, here's all you need is the seer is what he calls it, right? And the thing seen, right? And then he asks the question, though, well, is there some other thing that you need to allow this to happen, kind of thing, right? And then eventually they get to the Glaucon, I think, says, oh yeah, well, you need a source of light, right? So the seer can only see the thing seen if the source of light allows it to happen, right? And people forget that. So at the end of the day, this is first in terms of importance and priority. Without the sun, you haven't the seer available or possible to see things, hence they cannot be seen. Obviously, it's metaphorical, right? It doesn't mean that blind people are done. What he's trying to say is there is something over and above which allows, there's got to be some sort of medium, in this case light, that brings together the objects that are experienced and the experiencer. Okay? Now, that's in the physical realm. So, if we go here, right, okay, here's my tree, here's my guy, here's the sun, right? So there we have that little thing. Well, what about the intelligible realm? So he says, in the same way that we have things seen, we also have things known. All right? This is a brain. And so this is a thing known, and this is a knower, right? And so he says, well, in the same way that we had the thing known and the knower, right? Is there something over and above? And he says that, yes, it is the good. What does that mean? Who knows at this point? But it functions in the same way that the sun does. And the good shines down in a way, and it shines on things that are true so they can be knowledge. So if we head over here, 2 plus 2 equals 5, the good cannot shine down on that because it's not true. Therefore, it's not knowledge. You cannot know it. So the knower knows knowledge based on the good shining down on it. So what he's saying about the sun and the good is if you flip over this thing as a mirror image, it goes like this, right? Okay, this is the brain, and this is the piece of knowledge. So he's trying to make a mirror image kind of thing, right? So in the physical world, there is a medium that allows for things to be seen and perceived. In the intelligible world, there also is a medium called the good, which allows knowledge to be known as true. That's the whole thing that he's setting up. So that at the end of the day, when he gets into the whole divided line, right? And so he says, well, if we continue this line here outwards, so we have still the visible and the intelligible, and he's going to divide that up even more. And he's going to say, well, okay, so divide this bad boy up, and then we have 4 quadrants because you can divide the intelligible world into realms and the visible world into realms. And he's going to call this basically images, things, the physical, images of things in themselves, things in themselves. I think this is all on another video coming up or something, but this will get you ready for it. And then the thing in itself. And at the very top of all this is the good. And so the good like shines down and allows us to know the thing in itself, the truth. The images of the things in themselves, the image of truth. And then down here, you have the sun, and the sun allows you to see visible, simple, physical things. That's the whole shtick. And at the end of the day, where he wants to go with all this, when we get to the cave metaphor and all that kind of stuff, where we're going to go is, and the journey of the soul through education is to move thusly toward the thing in itself, or the good. The problem is, most people stop here. And eventually he's going to talk about the cave metaphor. This is inside the cave, and this is outside the cave. And I know I'm throwing a lot of stuff at you right now to answer this question, but as you move forward in book 6 and 7, you'll see how all this kind of fits together. Hopefully that helps.